Good afternoon, traders and investors. It's Will back with another one this day on Friday for our Friday recap, guys. What a beautiful week that we had today. So we're going to look at most of the major indexes, see are the pullbacks over. We're going to look at our major tech names as well to determine which levels are going to be key for the next coming few weeks. And we're also going to be looking at some trades that I took and my total profit for the week, guys. Want to include a bit of that for a bit of transparency and just so you guys can get an idea of how much you can actually make just selling options in a very, very conservative fashion, right? I don't go for the home runs. Base hits is the motto here, especially when writing options. So let's get into some charts, guys. Now, let's start off with the SPY first. I want to show you guys the heat map. Now, does this stand out to you? Well, it definitely should. This is market breadth, and you love to see it. It's what we were nervous about 3-4 weeks ago. The bulls are finally proving that it is a broad market rally as we get more and more negative catalysts taken off the table, right? So terminal rates were almost there. We got PCE numbers again today, which showed us a very, very healthy market in terms of inflation coming down. The war between R and U is also kind of subsiding, coming to the tail end of that whole conflict as well. The China reopening is now real. There has been no supply shock whatsoever. So basically, guys, we're removing all of the negative catalysts that we've had over the last year, year and a half. The banking crisis is also largely over. I haven't heard of a banking headline in about a month now. So as the market removes more and more and more catalysts, this is what you get. You get more broad market confidence. So you love to see it. All of our major sectors up on the day and as well on the week. And look, on the month as well, guys. I mean, we have outstanding broad market performance at this point. All of our sectors green in a considerable fashion, obviously being led mostly by technology on the day today. But you can see that all of our other sectors are performing quite well, including on a 1 week relative basis, right? Even the more defensive names, industrials, energy, and financials, right? Even the more defensive ones are doing well. So that is very, very, very good for shaping up the continuation of the bull run here. So SPY on the daily chart here, gap up open and close relatively near the 52-week high, slightly above it, right? So very, very good job by the bulls of completely erasing this downtrend. We were originally speculating that if this were to continue and we would have lost the 12 EMA in a significant fashion for a continuation here potentially of the downtrend, but it did not happen. The bulls recaptured the 12 EMA almost instantly. And on the larger time frame, what were we looking for? We were looking for weekly higher lows, right? Anything above 411, as I was saying, was going to be a weekly higher low. At this point, it's suffice to say that we did get it. This is now going to be your new weekly higher low, 431.40-ish roughly, because we did crack the highs here. So now this is going to be the line in the sand level for me. Very, very attractive level, as a matter of fact. If you look back, this is previous horizontal resistance, which is now acting as support. Very, very, very healthy for the bulls. Absolutely love to see it. So keep an eye on that, guys. Weekly RSI not overbought. Daily RSI also not very overbought, not as much as it was coming into these highs back here, right? So now bulls have created tons of space. And if we were to pull back in a slightest bit and fill this gap here, we're now looking anything above 431.60 is just going to be your new daily higher low. Very, very, very simple, guys. On the monthly, look at this monthly candle close. Last trading day today, bullish, bullish, bullish monthly candle close. The MACD is getting ready here, guys. I mean, we're going for it. We're absolutely going for it. MACD cross on a monthly time frame, definitely not something you want to ignore. RSI looking very, very healthy. So congratulations to the bulls. I'll just leave it on the monthly for QQQ now as well. MACD has crossed now. We're in positive territory for the first time in a year and a half, guys. Very, very, very notable MACD cross on the monthly. This is what we've been mentioning for the past 2 monthly closes now. It's finally coming to be, right? It's absolutely beautiful. Very, very bullish monthly close here. So if we look on the weekly, I kind of have this little green demand zone kind of marked up here, right? So the bulls, the bears were not able to give us continuation of this daily downtrend here. They got stopped in their tracks in this area, which was our previous horizontal resistance, acted beautifully as support, and kind of bounced off it. Now at this point, anything above 357.67 is just going to be your daily high or low if we do pull back and try to fill this gap early next week, right? But we're kind of eyeing the most recent 52-week highs as resistance, 373, right? And if we do breach, say, 373, we only have a few, like, this is the last level, guys. We're here. Last level before all-time high resistance area. Looking very good. The weekly bull flag now at this point is all but confirmed. Initially, we were potentially expecting if the bears could have broken this 12 EMA, held below and set up a furtheration of the downtrend, right? We were expecting just weekly consolidation. Anything above 310 would have just been a weekly higher low, right? We were looking for it. What did the bulls do? Didn't even give back very much at all. Maybe like a 3% drop at most, set the weekly higher low, and now we're pushing higher already. So congratulations to the bulls. XLV Healthcare, looking good, guys, looking good. What were we saying earlier in the week, right? We were saying, need this to be your weekly higher low. The bulls put in a stop. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful transition the last 2 days of really putting an end to it. That's what I was saying earlier in the week. So we need to get a stop in this area here. The bulls came through and kind of saved the move. Really did a good job saving the move. So now the weekly uptrend is still intact at this point. Like I was saying, guys, all the time, need to close above 33.50, which we did in a significant fashion. And now if we can break this higher tier of our little resistance area here, we are undoubtedly going to start pushing higher into this big red guy here, which was the drop from the banking crisis headlines earlier in March. You guys remember, I want XLF to look like the Russell, right? Need to get the solid breakout of this area here. And apparently the bulls do want to do it now. We're getting some really, really nice support, guys. So at this point, need to break 33.80 and close above. However, we've created a lot of space, guys, that now the daily bull trend is going to be back in motion. Daily uptrend, anything pretty much above now at this point, 32.50, just going to be a daily higher low if ever we do come down before resuming to the upside. XLV Healthcare, beautiful, beautiful past 2 days on healthcare as well. We were watching these. As you remember, guys, the bears were unable to put in some hard closes in this whole area here. So the bulls did a great job of playing defense. That was the motto Wednesday, right? Bulls playing great defense. Now we are still in this tightening range. However, it's looking like we may want to set a weekly uptrend within this range, right? So what I need to see, guys, next week, a break of 133.25. If we do get that next week, we'll be doing a very good job. Going to go over to the 135 area and start pushing above, maybe start to break this range. We've been in this range, guys, for now almost 2 years. 2 years of just ranging at the all-time highs. Very nice accumulation zone on the monthly time frame here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chart. Usually when you see the bulls accumulate at the higher level of one move, right, and just accumulate here at the high, it leads you to believe that they will move higher, right, and not drop down significantly. So I'm going to be looking out for healthcare over the next couple of months to really start to ramp it up here. I think they do have the possibility for that. Russell doing a great job as well, right? Closing the week very, very strong. I want to take your attention to the monthly. We have not had a monthly MACD cross yet. It's looked like it wanted to do it a few times, but still struggling. Now, the RSI is finally above the moving average in a significant way. Look at this monthly candle close. Very, very nice candle close. Looks like a bullish candle close like back in January, right? So what am I looking for here on the Russell? It is now a confirmed weekly uptrend. We just set the higher low here, 180.5. I'm looking for next few weeks continuation into these higher levels, into the 190s. I need to see the Russell start moving up into this area here, the supply zone. 190 to 200 is going to be a very, very good area for the bulls to pull up in. If they do get into that area, I think they're going to set themselves up nicely so that when we do get a pullback, the most likely scenario will be sitting on all of this as potential horizontal support at that point, and then we're going to get our move higher. It's going to shift into a potential monthly breakout, right? So that is what I'm looking at for the Russell. Congratulations to the bulls. They've been putting in some great work. You've seen it. Names like Palantir, Rivian, a lot of the small cap names, guys, are starting to move in a significant fashion. So congratulations to the bulls. Short term, what I need to see, break of this 189 area here, right? But at this point, anything above here is just going to be a nice daily higher low, well above our moving averages, so tons of space. Dow Jones, right? Dow Jones doing a beautiful job of keeping my inverse head and shoulders pattern alive, okay? So what do we do right here? We set the weekly higher lows. Weekly higher lows at this point are now set here, 33,600 roughly, doing a great job. Breakout, retest, right? Breakout from this zone slightly, retest, and now we're looking to move above. This is a formation I love when you couple it with the larger head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders pattern. As I was saying, guys, need to break 34,500. This is the neckline. If we do it with momentum now that we have, we can get this done in the next few weeks. And if we do that, guys, we're moving back up higher. We're going to go to the 35.5, excuse me. And then we're looking at all-time highs, right? But I do believe that the value names are going to run hard here. Keep an eye out. Nike just had its earnings. They beat on revenues, but slid slightly on profits, right? As expected. We all knew that that was coming, so it should be no surprise to anybody. Nike also is a very good opportunity, in my opinion, despite the current consumer segment the consumer segment trend that we're in. Obviously, consumer discretionary, guys, is going to get hit the hardest when you have recession headlines. It's just normal, right? People tend to spend on things that they need when they have fears of a recession and may not want to spend on a $200-300 pair of Nikes. But it's a great time, in my opinion, to start loading up on the stock. If you like this company, I definitely do. Estee Lauder is my pick number 2. This got unfairly hit for the same reason as Nike, right? It's consumer discretionary. You can argue that beauty products are kind of not discretionary for more of the women segment, right? Because they do use it every day. However, Estee Lauder does tend to operate in the slightly higher end tier of the beauty segment, right? So they're not really selling the generic products. They do have a few low priced item lines. However, most of their lines and most of their companies that they own sell products of mid or higher tier status, right? So I do think that this company got unfairly hit because of this consumer segment drawdown. They are still down 48% off all-time highs. Still a great opportunity. And my other one from the Dow Jones that I like, right? Of the value names, these are all value names, right? They may not necessarily be in the Dow Jones directly. Costco with the breakout. Look out, guys. Look out. I'm telling you, this bad boy is coming with a vengeance. It's been accumulating here for the better part of the last year. Tightening range, accumulation pattern. We're getting a breakout of a long-term pattern. Look at the monthly close. That's all I'm going to say. Look at the monthly close. If you want me to move over, look at the MACD coming. Look at the RSI cross coming. It is looking good for continuation. So congratulations to our Dow Jones bulls. Let's look at a Bitcoin for a bit. Then we're going to get into our major tech names quickly. I don't want to spend too much time on this video. Then we're going to look at my trades for the week. Bitcoin doing a great job of holding this area upon rejection. So today, fake news, right? Bitcoin ETF from BlackRock got rejected, but all they had to do is file under somewhat different guidelines and file using Coinbase as their major exchange. So it was a bit of fake news. I mean, the bulls bought the dip immediately. Originally, it was said the ETF was denied, and then they said, no, it's only denied conditionally. It's just you guys didn't file it correctly with the correct exchange. So a bunch of noise to say it's not going anywhere, right? So Bitcoin doing a great job of holding on to my support zone here. Great job, guys, on the daily time frame. We can see we're not that overbought yet on Bitcoin, holding near the relative highs. You love to see it. On the weekly, we'll see only a few days left. However, today is the last day of the month. Is it the last day of the month? Yes, it is. Last day of the month today for Bitcoin. So we'll see how this monthly candle closes, but it should close somewhat like this. Look at the MACD, right? It's coming. Look at the candle close. Bullish doji, right? Hammer candle to the upside. Bullish hammer candle. Love to see it. Weekly close is going to be kind of flat and mute, But if you look at Ethereum, completely different story, right? Ethereum looks like it has momentum at this point. And you can see that because in the last few days, right, Bitcoin dominance is kind of going, is Bitcoin dominance, especially today, right? The other currencies have started taking over. So could we be seeing a temporary top on Bitcoin dominance? And could the rest of the move be led by the altcoins? Very possible, guys. Ethereum is looking juicy. Ethereum looks like it really does want to come back up to the 2100 level and test. And Bitcoin, if Ethereum starts doing that, right, Bitcoin is just going to start moving above its most recent year-to-date highs, right? So great job by Bitcoin. Bull flag. This is a daily bull flag confirmed. Also on the weekly, we're just waiting for weekly continuation. Very, very bullish in my opinion for crypto, as long as we keep holding Bitcoin, this supply demand area, this horizontal area of support, right? So very, very healthy. Going to go over the big tech quickly. Apple, new 52-week and new all-time highs, right? Absolute monster stock. You have to think at this point, the next area of resistance is going to be $200 psychological. Nothing to say on Apple. Grinded up the 12 EMA beautifully, right? Absolute monster. At this point, guys, it's very, very, very simple, right? Anything above 185, only going to be a daily higher low if we do pull back. Congratulations to the bulls. Slightly extended on the RSI, so we could get Apple cools off relatively quickly, guys. We could get 1-2 days of a cool off, set the daily higher low, fill this little gap here early next week, and just continue to grind higher. There was a report that came out today. I think it was Morgan Stanley put out a report that they could see Apple run an additional 30%. Would not surprise me. RSI getting slightly overbought on the weekly. But look, guys, this thing can stay overbought on the RSI on the weekly, right? For some time. Obviously, 2020 is a bad comparison because it was free money, hectic pandemonium markets. But if you go back 2017, look how long this weekly can stay overbought. 2014, look how long this weekly can stay overbought. So don't try to short something if you don't have more broad market signals, right? Amazon, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful push today on Amazon. As you can see, it's still struggling here with this 130 level, but that's normal. If you kind of zoom out here on the weekly, you will see that this area is a pretty massive supply zone here. Until we really get above 136, which would take us to 146, right? It's kind of going to be choppy, but what's good on the weekly, we're above all of our moving averages in a significant fashion. We have higher highs every single week, right? Look at these. Look at these closes, higher highs every single week on the candles, right? So Amazon really hasn't had much of a weekly pullback, similar to some other stocks in the past 2 weeks, let's say like Google. So Amazon doing a really, really, really good job here. Weekly, not that much overbought. Look at the monthly, guys. Beautiful, beautiful monthly chart. Look out below. Look out for this MACD cross, right? MACD cross is real at this point. Looking very, very, very nice on the monthly chart, creating a lot of space, guys. Weekly chart, right? So much space for a pullback if we do pull back, right? For the bulls right now, we're just kind of grinding higher. Very, very messy chart, but 12 EMA is going to be my guide when it gets choppy like this. Watch a 12 EMA. If we lose 12 EMA and set somewhat of a daily downtrend for some reason, right? If there's some intra-sector rotation, if some names in tech do decide to rotate down, Amazon has tremendous amount of space. I would be interested in Amazon around the 120 range. If we come back down closer to 120s, I would not mind writing some options down there on Amazon. But for now, right, all that needs to be done is we either pull back, we either lose the 12 EMA, but if bulls keep grinding, your next target at this point is going to be 135, 136 area. Okay, let's move on to Google. Google with a very nice weekly rebound, right? Early week, we kind of dipped below 120. Very happy that the bulls were able to kind of bring it back here within my target area. These two yellow lines, very, very crucial area. Made some good money on Google this week. Not going to lie. I do have long shares, but I also did write a decent amount of options on it. I mean, not a decent amount, but I only did one position, as a matter of fact. Would have liked to do a bit more contracts on it, but it didn't stay down here long enough. It only came down here for 1 day and kind of rebounded. I really wanted to be able to write heavier in the 115 to 113 range. That was really my target range. But I went with the 117 entry-level starter position, and pretty much was able to close it with 95, 96% profit. So can't really complain here. Google is kind of a weird one, right? It's kind of in a daily downtrend. However, it's in a weekly bull flag, right? So I always trust the higher time frame bulls, right? Even though it's in a daily downtrend, this is a confirmed daily downtrend, guys. What the bulls need to do is they need to hold 117.10. Anything above 117.10 is just going to be a daily higher low for a potential reversal of the daily trend to the upside. But as of now, it is a daily downtrend. We're looking for the bulls to reverse that. Good thing that we're in this zone here. Going to get decent amount of price support. On the weekly, it's a weekly bull flag. We've been waiting for this weekly higher low for 4 or 5 weeks now at this point, right? So should be no surprise. This is just looking for potential continuation for the upside from our longer term bulls here. So congratulations to that. Monthly close, bit of an indecision candle here at the top. So wouldn't be surprising, but look at the MACD. Crossing, doing a good job, guys. Crossing, right? So even if July opens up and we do pull back slightly, I mean, this is literally going to be for your monthly higher low at this point, right? So very, very good job by the bulls. I trust the weekly bulls here, but like I said, if we do pull back, 115 to 113 is my optimal zone for writing options on Google. Microsoft, monster, just like Apple, right? Struggling. You guys really need to watch here. 350, right? 350 all-time high is going to be your area of resistance. Need to break this to really, in my opinion, get some huge follow-through on Microsoft. For now, though, 12 EMA is my guide, kind of like on Apple and on Amazon, right? So very, very messy chart here, right? It was starting with a daily downtrend. Now we've kind of recaptured it. And at this point, anything above 328.44 is just going to be your daily higher low. They're trying to recapture the daily uptrend. But are bulls at risk of anything? No. Look at this weekly chart. Massive, 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 nicely done weekly chart, right? At this point, really just consolidating here, tightening range kind of at the top. It's messy, but it is a very nice little consolidation here at the top. The guide is the 12 EMA on Microsoft. Don't really like this chart. It is kind of messy, right, in terms of just analyzing it from the technicals. But one thing's for sure, next resistance is your 350, 351. All-time highs pretty much, line in the sand for me, 328.67. If you lose this, you basically open up for more weekly consolidation. It would also potentially be somewhat of a daily head and shoulders, right? So that's not what the bulls want to see. But if ever it does happen, guys, we're literally just fine. We're looking for pretty much a weekly higher low around maybe the moving averages. Microsoft for me, right? I really want to be writing in the 310 to 300 area. Might be a bit low for you guys, but that's just the sweet spot for me. Let's look at Meta a bit. So Meta is an absolute monster, right? It refuses to go down. I was saying earlier in the week, it doesn't even challenge the 12 EMA. Look how well this chart is grinded. This was the dip before earnings, smashed through earnings, right? It's only really challenged it a couple times since it started its monstrous run, right? From the low 100s. It's literally never been able to challenge the 12 EMA, this yellow line here, for more than a few days before being rocketed to the upside more. And Monday was really no different, right? We had a big red day, one of the biggest red days we've had in Meta in quite some time. And look, absolutely no damage done to the bulls at all. The weekly grind higher continues. If for any reason, I'm going to look at the monthly first, guys. Look at this. Ridiculous, right? Eventually, we're going to be due for a monthly pullback. But I just want you to know that we are looking to set a monthly higher low compared to all the way down here. So 100%, this is a long-term bull trend. 100%. It would have to be an absolute ridiculous event for something like this to happen, right? So if Meta does pull down, guys, I mean, it's literally buying opportunities for the next years at this point. This trend is not something you can take away easily, right? So Meta for me, unfortunately, I'm not buying up here. If it comes down to where I can write puts anywhere between 250 and the 220 zone, this is kind of my sweet spot for Meta right here. But if it doesn't come down here, I would not be surprised at all. Still has some gap to be filled between 300 and 315 area, right? The 12 EMA, guys, 12 EMA. If we can't lose 12 EMA, then the bears aren't going anywhere with this chart. Absolutely nowhere, right? 289 closest area of resistance, then it's up to the gap fill, 300 to 315, right? Keep an eye on this 12 EMA. Line in the sand for me, 278.32, Monday's low. If the bears break this in significant fashion, right, they set themselves up for something like this, daily downtrend. At that point, would I be worried? Absolutely not, guys. This would just be trying to go for a weekly higher low, very, very healthy weekly pullback. So congratulations to Meta Bulls. NVIDIA doing a great job of recovering, guys, here, right? So they never lost the daily uptrend, right? So set the higher low compared to down here, right? Compared to 374 area, they set it. Now we're kind of in the upswing higher. So need to watch out, 439, right? It's all going to be that. Either two things are going to happen. We're either going to roll over and set a daily downtrend, or we're going to push right into it and either get rejected and hover around or smash right through it, right? So one thing at a time. Watch the 12 EMA, right? This 402.53 at this point is the line in the sand level. If you come down below it, it's a daily downtrend. If it does become a daily downtrend, this line here, this, guys, becomes very, very crucial because it will be your weekly, right? This is going to be your weekly support line that you absolutely cannot lose. If the bulls lose all of this, right, it really opens the doors, guys, for bears to start engulfing the move and set really the tops on the monthly and start the monthly pullback, right? So everybody's expecting, it's kind of like Meta. Eventually, this chart is going to have to pull back and set a monthly higher low. Nobody knows when it is going to happen, but eventually it is going to happen. So just keep an eye on that, guys. For now, keeping a close eye on the daily, right? Just don't want to lose 402. We'll see. It's still a daily uptrend. Guys, it's a monthly, weekly, daily uptrend. So it's very, very hard to short. Very hard to short if you don't even see something like this happen first, right? So keep an eye on that for NVIDIA. Very, very nice chart. Palantir as well. Palantir had dropped so much, guys, okay, about 20%. They dropped so much that they really opened the door to set a higher low compared to our most recent high and then drop a bit further. Now, the question is, do we drop to lower lows? Or have the bulls put in enough work to where now we can expect a higher low compared to 1358 and then now start a new daily uptrend? That is what I'm going to be looking for. It's crucial to me. Next week, if we do get some pullback on Palantir, I will be writing some options in the 1350 area. I think it's a good area. Even if we pull back more, then it's going to get into my sweet spot. 1211 is where I really start wanting to go a bit heavier on Palantir, but I will be looking for an entry position to Palantir 1350 if we do start pulling back here, right? Now, what we need to look at is the fibs. If you're kind of doubting, it's the fibs. The bulls were able, off this down move, the bulls were able to go up all the way 61% of the move. Whenever you go up around 61% of the move, guys, it gives a very good chance of bulls setting a higher low, or at least at the very worst for them, setting a tightening range, okay? Usually, if they were to do this and stop here and start curling and moving over, and the bulls haven't even taken back 30% of this entire down move, then you can almost be sure that they're going to get follow through, right? But when the bulls pull back this much into a move, it gives them a lot of space to set a higher low and change the daily trend back to the upside. So I'm thinking that there's a good chance that they change the trend back to the upside, especially if the broader market continues pushing higher, or at least set a tightening range into motion, right? So that is what I'm looking out for on Palantir. Just keep an eye out for those levels. I told you guys I'll be writing down here, but I really want to be writing, 12 to 11s would be more ideal for me. Weekly, bullish candle close on the weekly, guys. Tough for me to be bearish, right? They did a good job of cooling off the weekly RSI. Great job cooling off the daily RSI as well. Monthly candle close, can't really complain, right? Eventually, we're going to have to set a monthly higher low. Don't know when that larger pullback is going to be. So we're taking it 1 day and 1 week at a time for Palantir. Tesla. We get a sip of coffee. All right. Tesla, same situation as Palantir, right? Big move down, 13% move down. So when they move down that much, you open the door to set a lower high compared to your previous high, right? And then depending on the size of the pullback, you can determine whether or not they either break the lows or whether they want to reverse and recapture the daily uptrend. So at this point, Tesla bulls did a great job of playing defense. If we pull the quick Fibonacci tool and see how much of that move the bulls got back, you will see it right here. Sorry about that, guys. So you will see that the bulls were able to capture, just like Palantir, 61% of the move. So I'm not going to repeat myself. You can obviously see that the bulls have a good chance of doing something like this, or going into a tightening range, accumulating, and then potentially going for the breakout. In any event, you guys will see that I did write some Tesla puts for next week. I wrote the 250s. For this week, I made a decent amount of premium on Tesla. I also have some long shares, so really not worried about that. Line in the sand level, 241. Bulls cannot lose 241 if they want to leave this daily uptrend possibility intact. If they do lose 241, it's going to be a daily downtrend confirmed. And at that point, it's going to be a weekly pullback. Still though, weekly bull flag, right? Weekly bull flag. Guys, you know, this green box is my ideal area for going a bit heavier on Tesla. 230 all the way down to 210. This area, if we do pull back potentially over the next couple weeks, I'm going to be going fairly heavy on Tesla for this, right? So obviously, at this point, only two things are going to happen. Either the bulls are going to recapture this and we keep going. They can just do this, right? I'm not saying that they're going to roll over right away, but just a little candle formation, you know, we created a decent supply zone up here, right? Wouldn't surprise me if we get rejected. Like if you want to see it on the lower time frames, right? Kind of working against resistance here. So if we do come back, guys, watch it. 241 line in the sand level. If we do lose it, it's a daily downtrend. However, it will just be a weekly bull flag. Anything above 165 is just a weekly higher low. So we're looking for the weekly pullback, no problem. Very interested in this zone here. Congratulations to Tesla bulls, right? And obviously, I don't have to say it, resistance, right? If we do something like this, well, then we're looking at the higher level 275 bulls have to break. So that's pretty much it for our major tech names. Now, what did the account do this week? Well, as you can see, guys, this week, so 53%, decent gains on the year, guys. We did make a couple withdrawals here, you know, back in late April after I came back from Thailand and had to pay a bit of the credit card fees, right? But that's what this account is for, right? I trade for income, for a living. I have the long-term portfolio that's exclusively shares and some leap call options that I just don't touch pretty much. It just grows. And then I have this account that I use for, you know, day-to-day, week-to-week, you know, funding of the living expenses, right? Trips, living expenses, rent, all that stuff. So as you can see, even though we're withdrawing on a fairly frequent basis from this account, we are outperforming our NASDAQ. The NASDAQ only up 30.44%. This is the NASDAQ composite. If you want to look at QQQ more specifically, right? QQQ year to date, 39%. The account here sitting at a comfortable with today's close, 53%, right? So we're beating the NASDAQ, we're beating QQQ, we're beating SPY by a wide margin, right? Very, we're torching SPY, right? Like 3x pretty much. So very good performance on the account so far. This week was really no different. So we were able to generate around $1,150. This is everything included, guys. Pretty much commissions, you know, buying, closing positions, all that stuff together, right? So just want to run it through quickly. I showed you guys the positions in the account, but Interactive Brokers doesn't do it. You know, they don't really table these things nicely. They do at the end of the week, but since I closed a couple positions today and a few expire worthless today, I won't get that realized statement until tomorrow. So I put together a quick spreadsheet for you guys. I'm going to try to get some trading software that compiles trades in a nicer user interface rather than just doing an Excel spreadsheet. But now for today, we're going to do it a bit old school, right? So if you watched the couple videos during the week, you guys saw what I did, right? These positions should be absolutely no secret to anybody. So the Rivian puts, we had 10 puts that I wrote last Friday, right? We profited a total of $160. So we wrote them at 17 cents a piece. Right, so $17 times 10, 170 total profit after closing them was about 160. Decent ROI on that one. Don't forget, guys, we're looking for about 0.5% to 1% on each of these positions per week. So if you get 0.5%, there's 52 weeks in a year. If you're making 0.5% a week, that's 26% a year. That's amazing. If you're getting closer to 1%, you're making 52% a year. That's absolutely amazing, guys. Absolutely amazing. And when you're writing a slight bit of margin, it's even more than that, right? So it's a lot more than that. So that's on 26 or 52% would be on the margined up amount, the levered up amount. So on your base account, it's even more. And you can see these positions are really, they're kind of boomer, guys. They're not that aggressive positions at all, right? So these were Rivian. I got assigned 200 Rivian shares last Friday. We wrote covered calls on them this week. They got called away today. Rivian closed above $16 today. So another $78 there. That was great. PayPal also was assigned PayPal a long time ago at this point, about a month ago. Wrote another set of covered calls today. Just have 100 shares in this account. My long-term account, I have about 800 more shares plus a leap call, right? So close to 1,000 shares exposure to PayPal, right? So I'm really, this is just kind of a position that I got assigned and I'm trying to wheel it out normal. $41 there. Enphase, right? Enphase, we were assigned Enphase at 162.50. We wrote some covered calls on it. So we pocketed all the premium this week because Enphase closed at around 166, 167 today. So we got all the premium on this, right? The entire $314. I rolled it for next Friday as well for an additional $150. So we made $314 this week and we got another $150 coming on it next week. So nothing wrong there. Google, I wrote the 117s on Monday. You guys probably saw that. $56 a piece. We closed them the other day here for, actually today, this morning, for $3, right? So I wrote them at 56 cents, closed them for 3 cents. Nice little profit here. Nothing to say too much. Google closed in the 120s. This is the Tesla. Wrote the 230 puts on Monday. Closed those on Wednesday for 15 cents, right? So wrote it for $1.60, closed it for 15 cents. Right, it's times 100, so total profit, $145 there, 0.63 ROI. AMD wrote the 103s right earlier in the week. You guys remember me telling you AMD really loved this dip, so we bought the dip. We wrote them in my target green zone here. Perfect execution once again. I had 2 contracts there, right? $49 a piece. Close them on Wednesday as well. They were almost worthless, right? So I always said to take profit 90%. Close them almost worthless. Another $90 there. Tesla went again on Wednesday since I had closed this position. Wrote higher 247.50s. Closed those this morning for almost worthless as well, right? $154. Closed them for $11. Pocketed another $143 on Tesla. No, nothing fancy there. AMDs as well. Wrote them on Wednesday. Since the stock moved higher, it was now up at that point on Wednesday to around 110, right? I chose to get a little aggressive for it. I said, well, I don't think they'll break the week's low because QQQ is looking good. If ever they do, so be it. It's a starter position for me. Usually on a stock like AMD, I'll be running 3, 4, 5 contracts. So I just wrote 1 as a starter position here. And it turned out well. AMD ended the week around 110, 111, right? So was able to close that today for almost worthless as well, right? Wrote them at 47 cents, closed them at 2 cents this morning. Rivian, more contracts here that I wrote on Rivian on Wednesday, as a matter of fact. Wrote 5 contracts here at $14. So not that big exposure, only about $7,000 exposure, right? $1,400 times 5. Got about 9 cents each, right? 9 cents each times 5. So $9 times 5, $45. And lastly, Baba. Wrote some Baba on Wednesday as well, 83. I like Baba. I think Baba does have some room to move, guys. We're towards the lower end of the stock. Look at this stock, right? Still juicy. And China names have not yet really come back to life, right? So Baba still 75% off the all-time highs. So I don't mind. I only wrote 1 contract, right? Starter position once again. We're writing it at decent support. You can see this yellow line is 83. Writing it at decent support, but it can go lower. Baba came all the way down to 60, under $60, right? So that's why. Just did a little starter position. If I would be assigned, I really don't care. I think this thing has upside to 90, $100+, right? So just looking to write a little starter position, but closed above 83. We didn't get assigned, so we just pocket the premium. So all in all, guys, $1,150. You can see that I did respect my rules for the most part, very close to 0.5%. But anywhere between 0.5% to 1% is kind of my sweet spot. Even if they're 0.4, 0.42, really doesn't matter, guys. That's really good ROI on an annualized basis. So if you like the video, guys, pretty much all I have for you today. If you like the video, consider liking, consider subscribing. I love you guys. Hope you had a great week trading this week. Have a beautiful weekend. I will be putting out content over the weekend this weekend because I don't have much to do. It's summer over here in Canada, so, you know, going out with friends, the girlfriend, XYZ, right? So take care, guys. I'll see you this weekend. Happy trading and take a breather. Enjoy the weekend, right? I love you guys. Peace.